rolling. Hiya, Bob. Nice to see you again.
Hi, Clive. Yeah, we've been in close contact just lately, haven't we?
Yes, I know it's strange that because even though I've known you for 25 years, it's like, I suppose, because of the advent of the internet and all this new technology that we can actually talk on a regular basis now. That before we never probably seen each other for years, had we?
No, probably in Ireland a couple of years ago we talked more than we had done, really.
Oh, yeah.
You're a totally different match serpent to me, aren't you?
That's right, yeah, because I'm on the other side of the country, like. But yes, I remember I got battered by a young lad, and he was casting these feeders, and I tell you what, they were going out miles, and he battered me anyway. I said to him after the match, I said, what feed are you using? He said, I'm using these Bob Nudd feeders. I said, listen, anyway, he showed me these feeders, window feeders, and you know what? It was so coincidental that I bumped into you then. And I mentioned, I said about these feeders. He said, I'll bring you some tomorrow. And I don't even remember, but you brought me a whole bloody bag full of them, like.
Did you? Yeah, and you never really had a chance to use them, but they are.
Oh, yeah, brilliant. They're feeders. Was that like an invention of yours, or did you sort of develop it from someone else?
I was the first one. It was Barry Smith's idea.
Okay.
Because he had a maggot feeder, but this was 15 years ago, and then. From that, I thought it's a good idea. So I designed the first models for production for any company. So really, and I actually did other things on the idea. So I actually produced with Browning the first production models, and now everybody uses them. So
yeah. Oh well,
they are good.
Yeah, they're brilliant. Yeah. I use them on the Y, funny enough. I know they're probably more for still water, but I use them because you can get right over under the far bushes sometimes. It's a long way across. And and they work. They work quite well, yeah.
And you caught with them, well, that's good.
Yeah, good, yeah. But I think I've lost most of them now you gave me, so...
Oh, I'll have to bring you some more. They would probably work... We used to fish on the Thames with a maggot feeder and chuck right across, like you said, almost under the trees to catch chub.
That's it.
And longtail, single maggot, because the chub there were crafty, so single maggot, probably only on a 22 hook, something stupid.
Yeah.
But with a maggot feeder, they would probably work there like that because I think with a maggot feeder, sometimes the maggots don't come out until you come wind it back in with them, do they? A normal maggot feeder, you fill it up, you cast out, and they don't come out of them holes that easy, do they?
No, they don't.
And you come back in, of course, as you're whizzing back in, the maggots come out, so you think, oh, that's good. But you don't know where, of course, a window feeder, they would empty.
Yeah.
You could have it so they empty immediately, so that would probably... I remember winning this match on the Thames. It was one of those knockout ones where you have 12 anglers. What was that called? You had two teams, 12 anglers. It's something knockout.
Yes, I remember that. I don't know if it's called the Drennan knockout. I remember because we used to...
No, it weren't the Drennan.
No.
You were drawn against a team and they home or away, and if the team drew home...
Captain Morgan's Cup.
Morgan,
I remember. Yeah.
There was a Captain Morgan on the Thames at Wallingford, and I won it with about 24 pound of chub.
Oh, right.
Casting right over with a long tail. This lad, he said local expert, because you need local expert knowledge, he told me exactly how to fish it. I won the match. Never done it. Never fished like that before for chub. Right over tight.
Brilliant.
And look for that. When the feeder hits...
Yeah.
Immediately that feeder hits, you're looking for the bite then. You haven't put your rod, you haven't done anything with your rod, you just watched it.
Yeah.
You haven't buried your line or nothing, but...
Brilliant. Okay.
Yeah, that was a good way to fish for them chub. You got the bite on the drop. If you didn't see that little flicker, and sometimes that was a 2 pound chub, just a little flicker. Whereas you think of sitting there waiting and the tip flies right round, but...
Don't know.
No. Doesn't always, that was good.
Anyway, let's get back to this, Bob, because how are you feeling this lockdown? I know it's a funny situation. I've never come across anything like this in my life. I don't suppose you have either, have you?
Shall I give you the absolute truth?
Yeah.
Shall I give you the absolute truth?
Go on.
It's, a match angler, a match angler's life, you wouldn't believe it, anybody, it's quite stressful.
Yeah.
It's intense. You're up early in the morning. You're preparing. You're away, especially Ireland every day, and it is hard work.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm missing fishing, but it's a holiday. It's a lovely.
It is.
holiday
It is a bit of a break. Yeah, that's true.
I find I'm sleeping for 7 hours. Well, I've never slept for 7 hours before. I sleep for 5 hours, and then on your mind, you're turning over what you're going to do in the match. And I'm sleeping now for 7 hours. I don't know when I last slept for 7 hours.
Amazing.
So, but I am missing the fishing. Obviously, I'm really, I'm gradually each day it's getting. But I think because it's normally I'd be in Ireland, but I've forgotten about Ireland. Ireland's no, so I've forgotten. I would normally be there now.
Yeah.
So now my mind is zeroed in on the first day of the season. Like yourself, I'm a river angler, really. River and still water. So my mind's zeroed in for fishing on the Yare on the 16th. And everything I see about, whenever a notification, I'm looking for when this lockdown is going to be released.
Yeah.
Are they going to let anglers go? Are we going to be able to fish? Can I go over and pick up my electric barrow that I've ordered? Can I go and get through?
Hey, they're getting pop on those electric barrows, aren't they? Yeah.
Well, I've never had one, but my friend told me about this lad that makes them, so I ordered one.
Yeah.
I ordered an electric barrow, 4-wheel, with lithium battery, ultra light.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. There's a couple of lads got them on the River Wye because they're long walks and, and it's a godsend there, yeah.
But we have, Clive, also the equipment you take now. It's unbelievable. When you see them trolleys loaded, it's not like it used to be, is it?
No, that's right.
So it's hard.
Yeah, looking at the old videos. Anyway.
So really, the honest truth is, I'm okay.
Yeah, okay.
I've got a nice home, big garden. I go to the shops twice a week shopping. Right, take Bernie's with me. I just sit in the car. I flick a little switch that opens the boot, and when Bernie comes back, I said, I'm not allowed to touch the shopping. I'm not allowed to touch anything, so I just sit there with my arms folded, send Bernie out with a pair of gloves on, and a mask, which she never puts on. But I think everybody should be wearing a mask, especially on public transport or anywhere where or getting on the tubes. Why haven't everybody else in the world has got a bloody mask on, except us?
What I don't understand is the government is saying, "Oh, you don't need a mask," but they're crying out for the nurses and doctors are crying out for them. So they want the boat, not for us.
I don't think it's for the case of you catching the virus, but I think if you've got the virus and put a mask on, you're less chance of spreading the infection everywhere.
Yeah.
So that's my opinion, and I can guarantee they'll bring out that ruling soon. It's come out too late, but so that's so really life. What I did this morning, I was up and I jet washed the garage doors. And jet washed a little bit, so I do a little bit each day, but not too much.
Brilliant. Okay. Oh well, at least you're keeping yourself active.
Yeah, honestly, I am fine.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, listen. As I say, I want to start really at the beginning because I read, or I think you might have mentioned, that you were quite late in starting match fishing, weren't you? I think you fished. You fished as a kid, but you didn't actually get into.
No, and didn't have much knowledge either, Clive.
No.
I probably started to fish for Essex, and it was called Essex Cats. And when I was about 25, 26, which is late, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'd won a lot of club matches fishing for Marconi's when I was 20, 21. But they were club, and I was club champion, and so I did enjoy that part of it. But when I got into the open match circuit, I was right at the bottom, fishing for Essex Cats. I was sort of right at the bottom to get in the team when I was about 24, 25. So
yeah, well, you obviously had a natural ability for it, but it came out late, as you said, in your life, I know you made your name in Ireland because I can remember reports about all these big weights being caught, and I can remember you being there, up there, winning quite a few of them. I think that was the start of where people got to know of you, I think.
I think so, yeah. When I was, that would have been 1978 when I first...
Right.
I'd been to Ireland a couple of years before to the south. I was dead scared about going to the north.
Yeah.
And I went to Enniskillen and fished the Benson and Hedges, which was a big... There was about 300 people fishing it then.
Yeah.
Kevin had fished brilliantly all week. He'd caught over £100 of fish every day, over £100 of roach.
Yeah.
And, well, I can remember my first day. A beautiful... Mark Downs was in my section then. I can remember that first day, 1978. Sure Mark was in it. He probably won the section because I was third.
Right.
And I had about £50 of roach, I think. Lovely, beautiful sunny day. Roach were topping everywhere. And I really enjoyed it, catching my first trip there, catching £50 of roach. I'm guessing I probably did fish a pole. They weren't far out then. We didn't have long poles then, 78.
No. Yeah, yeah.
If you had a 6 metre pole, that was a long one.
Is that right? Yeah. Well, of course, because I can remember when poles come on the market. Of course, right at the very beginning of when I joined the World Championships, which is 1981. That was on Luddington. That was my first, introduction. Yeah. Up until then, I hadn't done any good myself really. But then that World Championships, the Welsh team, we shone through. We come third. I think England was second, and France won it. Yeah.
Yeah,
and I was third best weight on the first day, qualified for the second day, and of course it come up in flood, didn't it?
Yeah.
On the second day, and I actually caught an eel, and I was 17th in the world in my first goal. Yeah. So.
On your first trip.
Yes.
What year was that?
I was 81.
81. Oh, that was.
Yeah.
Is that the year Kevin won it?
No, Thomas.
Oh, that's
yeah.
Right, yeah.
And the following year, that's where I got to know Kevin more personally, because I bumped into Kevin when I was a youngster. He used to come down and fish the River Taff sometimes.
He used to be all over.
All over the country.
He used to do his maggots. Do the maggots in the morning, and then you used to race off and go fishing. Yeah, because in them days, he was my hero really. Because I got talking to him, I couldn't understand a word he said when he would talk to me in his dialect, it's Leonita. I said, what's that mean? I think he was everybody's hero.
Yeah,
he was like his dad. He was so far in front.
I didn't know his dad. Did you know his dad?
No, yes, I knew his dad, yeah. I went up there, stayed with him several times.
Okay.
His dad used to play the spoons. I knew his dad. I fished with his dad, so...
Oh, brilliant,
yeah. Yeah, I knew him quite well.
So is it fair to say then that he was like your hero, maybe?
He was, yeah. I mean, he was everybody's, wasn't he? Because and then he won the World Championship. Was it 82?
82 in Ireland, yeah. Mm.
Yeah, so he won the World Championship then, and I think, and in Ireland he was unbeatable.
Yeah.
Because he was, I think in those days, I don't know, I think northern anglers were so far ahead.
Yeah.
Would you class yourself as a northerner or a southerner?
I suppose it was southern, really. coming from there.
When I got picked for England, I was really the first southerner.
Yes, I remember. Yes, yeah. Because
I was really the first. Everybody who got in was from the north, Tommy, Dennis, Kevin, Ian Heaps, although Ian's moved now, but he was classed as a northerner.
That's right, yeah. I remember, yeah.
So I was really, and then Stevie Gardner followed, and I think the northern anglers had more of a natural sense of the fishing. They were more natural. They could adapt and adjust more than me. I had to have everything. I was probably more technically very much in front with equipment, and everything was perfect.
Yeah.
But I had to do that because I was behind on the fishing knowledge.
Well, I know you mentioned it, when the pole came into play, you were sort of just as good as them, if not better, because it was like a new technique for a lot of anglers. And
absolutely new. We all had to learn, and they were still, a lot of them were still hanging on to the wagglers and the stick floats.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I can remember going and winning on the Trent with the pole. When everybody's looking around, what's he doing there? Of course, you could, when there was plenty of fish, you could feed and present the bait much better. So
yeah.
Now, of course, it's advanced from there.
Oh, yeah.
But I was luckily I think that's what got me into the World Championships, and I know I know once we got in and we won in Italy, but it wasn't on the pole. I was the only one who fished the pole in Italy in '85.
Yeah.
I was the only one fishing the pole. Apart from what I told you about fishing a waggler with so many fish that you couldn't catch one. That was unbelievable. Never seen that before. That would have been a dream draw. And but I know Dick had always wanted us to win a world championship with the pole.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And then Hungary was the real one. You know, we won world championships all using pole. So that was good.
Yeah, I was going to say, because the first time the England won, of course, on the Arno, that was that was all rod and line, if I remember, waggler fishing and slider fishing, wasn't it? Yeah.
Mostly, a lot of slider fish. There was 2 deep sections, two or three deep sections, and 2 or 3 shallow sections. So that was mainly slider fishing, except my peg, which was a pole peg.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think the thing was, like, you know, as you say, you joined the England squad then, and, you know, because your pole sort of, you know, you come to front then, and then you won your first World Championships. I think it was in Yugoslavia, on the Drava, wasn't it, if I remember?
Yeah, the River Drava.
Yeah.
So do you know what, I pulled something out, because I just pulled out the floats we used on the Drava. Look. You won't believe this. Yeah. But that's sort of, I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you probably don't remember this, Bob, but the Welsh team actually got there, which is unusual. We got there like a couple of days before, and that's what we were using, like big pair.
Same ones.
Yeah, exactly.
10 grand, because there was no flat floats, was there?
No, that's right.
I don't know who made these. There may be somebody looking in when they watch this.
Yeah, I don't know.
There might be somebody who remembers who made these. Whether it was somebody on the upper band, Willie Russell, or I'm not sure who it was, but they came from one of the band anglers.
Right.
The band who used to make these floats.
Yeah.
They're the floats we used on the band.
Yeah.
And of course, the secret with that was overshotting the float, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Well, you probably don't remember this, but I can remember it because, as I said, we were down there practicing, the Welsh boys, and, you know, we were having a go. And actually, I think it was myself who actually started to do it, overshot in the float, holding back. And anyway, all the England team, your lot come and they sat behind us for a little bit before you got going. I don't remember this. I thought, oh no, you know, we're showing you methods that took us a couple of days, and then.
No, take it from me. We knew about overshotting floats because Kevin and myself had been brought up on the back.
Ah, right, yeah.
That's where we did it. We overshotted the floats.
Right.
Sometimes as much as 2 or 3 treble A's. I'm guessing because that's where I won my first World Championship on the River Drava.
Ah, right.
And I was about 3 AAs overshotted.
Of course, I don't know if you.
There was a rule then, wasn't there? There was a rule then that the float. They didn't say you couldn't overshot the float. No. But the rule was that the float must not impede the flow, which was stupid.
I know,
In other words, you couldn't stop your float at all, but everyone was.
Well, I don't know. I got to hear the story about when the Germans won in I think it was 1980. And they absolutely pulverised. It was a very similar water, and what they were doing, they were using like barrel type of floats, and most of them were actually the float was out of the water, if you know what I mean.
So they had the lead on the bottom. Probably.
Yeah, so there was no resistance water on the float, but they could feel it through the pole, and obviously, and yeah. I wrote a little thing about that. It was interesting. But anyway, let's get back to this because that was your first World Champs, and the second one then I think was Nottingham. No,
the second one was in Hungary.
Oh, that's right. Yes, that's right. Sorry.
1991. So the first one was 1990 in Yugoslavia.
That's right.
The second was in Hungary in 1991.
That's right.
Which was and of course that was even better because that was a double gold. We won the actual team gold and I was lucky enough to win it again. Just,
Yes.
I had mentioned this before, just beating Kevin over the 2 days by 3 ounces.
Yeah, I know.
Which was ridiculous, really.
Yeah, I know. I remember that well because the Welsh team boys, we actually went the wrong method. I think we all went for perch, which it was abundance of perch there, all on the whip, and we thought we'd concentrate on that because it's short 3-hour matches. Of course, not realising that the fish were further out, and they dry up quite quickly on the inside,
Well, the important thing of that was as well, when you were fishing for the perch, you had to eliminate the fact that you weren't catching as many perch as someone else, but you had to stop and loose feed,
that's right,
or throw a ball of ground bait. So it slowed you up a bit on the perch. So anybody with their head down going for the perch, if you were loose feeding, you were stealing their fish gradually out.
Yeah,
that's what I did both days to win my section.
Yeah.
Do you know that probably a moment that I've had, which was not when I wasn't fishing, was, and you might remember it, you might not, but in 1990, I'd won it and Kevin was second. And Kevin had a first and a second. I'd had 2 firsts, so I'd won it. And then the next year, and I won it and Kevin was second again in Hungary.
That's right.
And when we walked, and obviously we'd been on the phone talking to home and we were pleased, but when we walked into the dining room, it was a hell of a lot of noise. Everybody was, banging, crashing, and suddenly it went dead silent. And everybody stood up and clapped these 2 Englishmen that had got a first and a second in consecutive years.
Yeah.
And I was just fortunate to be just in front of Kevin, only by a bit of draw and nothing on ability. Kevin would have done the same if it had been in my peg.
I know. Yeah. I think
But that was a moment when you weren't going up for a prize or anything, and everybody's clapping, and everybody's eating their dinner, and they all stopped. Probably Dick led the clapping, I should think, and everybody followed it. But that was
I think I might have mentioned about Kevin because Kevin's had 3 seconds, haven't he, and a first, because he was second when I won it. I only beat him by a few ounces then.
Yeah. So he's had some bad luck, and that just shows you the ability.
Oh yeah. I mean, as I say, he goes down as a legend in my eyesight, and it's a shame that, as you say, that I think we were talking the other day that his health's not too good, and of course he doesn't.
Well, he's not really when you consider. He's not bad. He's still bloody fishing, and he still fishes. He still fishes in the week on the Weaver, so it's not.
Okay.
It's not really affected him that much.
Oh, okay, all right, then.
He doesn't have much else to do.
Right, now the third one, of course, was where was that? Your third one?
Oh, it was in England. It was not my third win was 1994 at Home Beer Point.
Home Point, that's right. I remember that.
Did you fish Home Beer Point?
Yes. On the first day, on the first day, I was doing okay. I think I was about 6th in the section, which wasn't that bad, right? But the second day, we completely bombed out, But
we had tactics spot on, and we didn't do anything wrong. Me as a pole angler totally ignored the pole. Never picked the pole up. Just fed the pole line and then was straight out on the slider.
Yeah, amazing.
For 3 hours non-stop both days. Sparring little tiny. We developed a double lean mix, which was damp lean, and then you mix grey lean with it to make it sticky, and then put a little bit of joker in with that. You could make a small hard ball fairly. So the size was always the same, and so I mean, the important thing when you're feeding a line and you're clipped up with a slider, say, and you're going out and sinking it, the important thing is the ball that you fire out must be the same size for you to get a consistent distance.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
You could just get a nice consistent size and weight, and then it always goes in a similar area.
Yeah. I was going to say it was a great team tactic. I think, was it Dick Cleggs or was it the boys that actually, come up with the method, because it was something that it caught us out. I know that, because it got hard, didn't it? It was quite hard on the second day,
It was hard both days.
Yeah.
But that tactic Well, it was leading in practice. It was hard as well, and not much was being caught on the pole. Was it just odd fish? So So we really almost totally. I did anyway. I totally ignored the pole and just waggler both days. And,
I mean, you know, when it came to tactics, you know, was it like a group sort of decision on the tactics that the team would do, or was it something that you know, somebody would come up and you know, Dick Clegg
we did go through things, but Dick always seemed. That's why he was so good. Seemed to knit everything together tactically.
Right.
You know, I wasn't always sure that's how I'm going to fish or that's how I'm going to fish.
Yeah.
So we used to fish and practice. But when we got to usually the Thursday when we were discussing exactly what we were going to do, Dick had it all sorted. Really, yeah, he was very, very good. And I used to sit there and think, that's spot on. That's
of course.
So and you know yourself, it's always about feeding. So basically, you get your feeding right, and where you're going, and distance, where you're going to fish, but Dick always seemed to be able to get all those things knitted together.
Yes, he did.
He had that sort of knack of. Well, I suppose you know they're good anglers from Barnsley, aren't they? So they must have that bred into them. And you know yourself, if you don't get that tactic right, doesn't matter if you're the best angler in the world, you can't win.
No, that's true. Yeah.
So feeding and tactics are important.
So I mean, so really, in a sense, I know it was his birthday yesterday, and you know, he's had some great comments. Like obviously, you know, he's had hundreds of people wish him well, but like you said, he helped you really individually to win it a couple of times.
He did. Definitely. I wouldn't have won in Hungary without Dick.
Yeah, no.
In Yugoslavia, he knew I was doing. He knew I knew what I was doing. I shouldn't say that, but he knew. So I never even saw him.
Yeah.
I never even. Usually, if you're doing okay, you don't see him. If he comes and sits beside you and right there, then you're in trouble. But in Yugoslavia, I never saw him.
I got to tell you a story. I don't know if you know about this, but when I was runner-up, you know, the year before I won it, it was on a split venue. It was on the Rhine on the first day, and then it was on the Canal the second day.
Yes, yes, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah. So anyway, I qualified, you know, because I was second in the match on the first day and won the section. But I qualified, and I was. I didn't even think about it because we didn't even know there was chub or anything in the water at the time, you know. And it was only halfway through the match when somebody said, one of the Scottish lads had caught a chub. So anyway, you know, it was a real struggle on that canal. And anyway, I quickly set up a waggler and went across. I started catching chub. And now the guy on the end, Weaver, I don't know if you remember a guy named Weaver, Ludwig Weaver. Well, he was winning the match because he was right on the other end on the end peg, and he had it to himself. Anyway, I started catching his chub, and of course, I'm not saying our team manager knew what he was doing, but he didn't. But fair dues, old Dick, because none of the England boys were doing any good that day, and he sat behind me and he tried to help me, and he anyway. I was catching this Ludwiger up on the end, you know, with the chub, and I was. It came to a stage where I think I needed another two chub in the net, you know, and I'd probably done him. Anyway, Dick Clegg sat behind me and actually counted the seconds down when I had the last chub on. And as he was counting down, you know, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Anyway, he said, you better get that in the net now, he said, because the bell's going to go, you know, the whistle. And when it goes, you know, they don't. So I took a chance to try to bloody bully it, and it fell off. And anyway, it was 20 seconds before the actual all out was called.
Oh, Blom, you could have done it.
And Dick said, sorry, Clive, you know, but he did try his best for me, you know.
Well, that was the last of the one day. You were fishing a one day.
That's right.
I don't think we had anybody fishing.
No, that's right. Yeah.
I don't think any of us had come because you used to have to come top four in your section.
That's right. Yeah. No, actually, it was the year after when it changed, because when I won it, then the following year it was all down to the second day again. You know.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, and then
was it 40?
Yeah, Portugal.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was. Yeah,
yeah,
Portugal. Of course
yeah.
it was. Yeah.
Because I think
Yeah, Portugal
actually,
was right.
if it was under the newer rules, I would have probably won that French one because I done well on both days.
Yes, you would have
Yeah,
done.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You'd have
But
got in.
yeah, of course, when I won it, it was all down to, and the funny thing is, like, I was always drawn in Kevin's swim. I think Kevin's section. I don't know if I mentioned that to you. You know,
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it was always.
So it was always tough. I was lucky. I didn't have to. I didn't have to fish up against
No,
Kevin or Stevie Gardner
yeah.
or Tommy or Dennis.
I know. Oh, I tell you what. In my eyes, the best, the best era and the best teams, England's ever had. I think in that era. Like.
No, they've got some brilliant anglers.
Oh yeah, I'm not knocking them. I mean, things have changed. Yeah, things have changed. It's all Paul now.
Yeah,
And,
no, they've
yeah,
still got a very strong team,
yeah.
but you cannot. It's not so easy to win.
No.
It's much more difficult.
Yeah, you did mention this. Yeah.
We were sort of we were way ahead, I think, then at times.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
just
yeah.
Italy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your team, I don't think you had a strong enough
No.
squad of individual anglers to come
Yeah.
through.
That's
You
right,
used to
yeah.
get tactics right, but
Yeah.
really it was Italy, France, or England.
Yeah,
wasn't it,
yeah,
most times.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
But now you can put 12 teams into the mix.
Yeah, probably.
Not easy.
No. So anyway, and of course your fourth match, your fourth win, as you say, that was in Hungary, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was in Spain.
Oh, Spain, sorry, yeah. Yeah, by then, that's when I lost my house in the floods, I remember that, and I didn't take much notice. But tell me a little bit about that, Bob, because that's something I've never... Because I think...
Spain was a channel going down to a power station. So it was a deep... It must have been a man-made channel, because the water, when they wanted the power, they opened these gates and that water raced through. So it was quite deep, 6 metres, probably. And it was sort of like a bowl shape, shallower in the edges, then going out to the middle, and quite wide. I'm trying to think of the width. It was wide anyway, you couldn't, you could probably just about chuck across it, but not easily. And it was a flat float, flat floats had come in then, we could use these flat floats to catch these, and it was only carp really, a few small catfish, but carp mainly. It was, and in practice, it was so hard. Could hardly catch anything. Well, we went out there a week beforehand. Who did I go out with? Stevie, myself, probably was Will fishing then. I think Will was fishing then, and Kim Milson, that's right, Kim Milson. We went out earlier, and we caught quite well when we were there as just 6 of us fishing, which you would do, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But once everybody got on the bank and feed, couldn't catch anything. And yet come match day, it was solid. Not solid, but I mean solid compared to some practices were only catching 1 or 2 fish.
Yeah.
So, and flat floats up to 40 grams.
Was it really? Bloody hell.
Yeah, I know the first day I fished sort of like between 20 and 30 grams. You'd had about 6 flat floats made up.
Yeah.
For when the pace altered, because if you want we didn't have to hold a flat float still, because God, I don't know what you would have to need. 100 grams if there is 100 grams flat float.
Yeah.
I don't know if there is, but
no.
But if you run a flat float slowly, say if you run it at quarter pace, it doesn't have to be quite as heavy. So you could go in and you'd probably I think our hook lengths were about nearly 1 metre long.
Yeah.
And then in the middle of the hook length, we had a BB shot or an AA shot or a couple of BBs. So that was on the bottom. And then you're Olivet and you weight just above the bottom, and then you just ease it through.
Right.
Throw a little hard ball of ground bait behind the float.
Yeah.
That was carp. And I had 20 odd kilo the first day. Lovely. I thought, I like this.
What's that? 40, 50 pound nearly.
To win the match,
Bloody
to win my section, and then the second day I had 30 odd kilo.
Bloody 60, 70 pound, bloody hell. Well, I know you used to catching big weights of fish, so did you win your section on both days then?
No, I was second, so I didn't think I'd won. In fact, angling times were all round me, and then I heard I was second in the section, but there was a Spanish lad that caught. and won his second. So everybody disappeared from me. I was standing on my own.
Yeah.
Suddenly I see Mick Rouse coming running along the bank. His arms were waving in. Bob, because you usually know you've won it, don't you, before? But, everybody had gone, all the press had gone, let's leave him alone. Then next, Mick Rouse is rushing back.
There they are.
Bob, you've won it.
Amazing.
I had, there was another Spanish angler, because that was Spain, that was their local, who had a first and a second like myself, but less weight. So.
That's right, yeah. Oh, well, that was, you made history then, obviously, becoming the first angler
first
ever
one.
To win 4 times,
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Oh, well,
you have to.
You
have to be in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, obviously by then, I think you were. Let me see. I think you become almost a professional. I think by then you were being sponsored by Browning. By then,
Yeah. I was on win bonuses by then, which were good.
Were you?
Okay. As well as getting salary, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
Do you remember my manager Terry Freeman?
Yes, I remember Terry. Yeah.
Yeah, Terry, lovely. He used to be my manager. He sadly passed away suddenly.
Oh, sorry.
Years back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he did, and but he negotiated win bonuses for me, and
brilliant.
yeah, that was good.
Oh, so you
and of course, I'd got that was so I got a win bonus in '94, then I got another win bonus in 1999. Plus, I got a reasonable salary anyway. So yeah, So I used to run my own business. So I used to work up until, I think probably until about 84, 83, 84. I used to do a bit of work.
Yeah. What sort of work were you doing, Bob?
Well, have you heard of my friend Peter Clapperton?
Yeah.
We set up in business together in late 70s probably, when we started doing hot dogs and burgers. This was well before McDonald's.
Oh, I heard this.
We built this. We bought this comma. It was a comma walkthrough. We bought it for 20 quid. Would you believe that? He borrowed a tenner off his mum, and I got a tenner on my MasterCard.
Yeah.
To buy this. That's how poor we were.
Never.
Going back to 70, probably 78. I think.
Yeah.
And then I was an engineer, so I could cut holes in the van and fit all the cooking utensils. And we used to go along to the 10-mile banks. I've served Ivan Marks hot dogs and that.
Yeah.
Past all the top anglers, yeah. We used to have our fishing gear in the middle of the van.
Yeah.
Drive up there, serve everybody.
Yeah.
Drag our gear out, race off, fish the match, race back. That's how we started with one van, and we ended up with about 8 vans going all over the place.
Bloody hell. So you were a bit of an entrepreneur.
It was called
Yeah.
Pete and Bob Mobile Dogs.
What's it called?
Pete and Bob's Mobile Dogs. That's what it
That's brilliant. Oh, hey, great story. That was fair dues, yeah.
Yeah. So that's how we were in. I was in the hot dog and burger. So I used to do a bit of work. That's how we both started out.
Bloody hell.
That's how really we got our money to go fishing.
Oh, brilliant. Whatever happened to Peter?
Oh, he's still about.
Oh, yeah.
He's still about. He's got a golf club at Clare. He's so he's still involved a lot.
Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah. Oh, well, because the thing is, I mean, as you say, you eventually become a professional and enough to be able to go fishing all the time, I suppose. One thing I've got to ask you, how did that song come about? Maggots in your catapult, because that was a classic.
That was my manager's, Terry. That was his idea.
Was it?
His daughter. Yeah, his daughter was working in a studio up in London, and so he did. I don't know what made him think of it. Brilliant that was. So it was a rap song.
Yeah.
But I wrote all the lyrics. Once we got the rap, and that was brilliant. I had to go. I went on a few photo shoots with that. I had to go to Trafalgar Square, got in the papers. Yeah.
Did you make Top of the Pops with it?
Yeah, it got to about No, I didn't go top of the pops, but it got to about 70-something in the charts, and all the money went to charity.
Oh, fair dues. Oh, brilliant. Yeah. Because I think I made a copy of it the other day, and it wasn't very good. I'll see if I can get a better copy and try and get it up on the website if I can.
I thought it was on YouTube, but I don't know if it's the right one.
Yeah, no, I think somebody's copied that, but that's great anyway. Right, obviously, this day and age, you're still match fishing, which is brilliant. Because I follow you quite a bit on Facebook. You're always in the money, you're always catching fish. So where do you fish these days then, Bob?
I fish in Ireland. I fish in Ireland 3 months of the year.
Okay, yeah.
So I usually go for 6 weeks. About this time, I'd normally be over there now.
Yeah.
And fish like 6 festivals,
okay.
and then I come back home.
Yeah.
In time for June the 16th when I go on the Yare.
On the Yare.
And they have several matches on the Yare
okay.
and the Viewer. I love those. I bet you're the same. I love those flowing rivers. Don't ask me why.
Yeah.
Where you can fish either a feeder or a pole and get the fish lined up, and it's technically always very difficult. Technically difficult, but as long as you're putting the float through straight, because like that, not dragging round. Make sure you've got a fair bit of line from your pole tip to your float.
Yeah.
Lots of people I see fishing because of commercial anglers. The line to their float is far too short, and you cannot keep your float in a straight line then. If you think when you're fishing, wherever you're fishing, you want your float running through straight, the fish don't want the bait cutting across. So a nice lot of line.
All right. Anyway, Bob, you were just telling me then, you were telling me about the pole with longer line, because I know what you're saying, because we do the same up on the Warwickshire Avon. We got to have that little bit extra line, so you can get a bit of trot on it. So it's the same thing on the Yare, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that, it's just that a lot of people fish with the line too short, and you just cannot control your float.
Yeah.
What you have to do when you're fishing a pole, you have to let the float control the float, not the pole. So if you can use a bit of line and let it run.
Yeah.
It's you obviously hold it sometimes, but it still keeps in a straight line.
Yeah.
That's a good thing about pole. Of course, the good thing about pole fishing is you can hold it at 13 metres and hold it still, can't you? Which you can't do with running line. It's always trying to come into you there.
That's right. Yeah.
So that's why a pole, and just poles, as long as the fish are close, I'm sorry fishing. But it's just the excitement of feeding and the effort of feeding every cast. And maybe a bit of loose feed, maybe a hard ball of brown bait. That's what I love. Do you know what I love? Working. I'm the laziest person in the world at home. I mean lazy. Don't like doing anything. But fishing, I'm the hardest worker. The harder it is, the more I've got to do,
I'm the
more I love it.
I'm the same,
yeah. 5 hours. If I can 5 hours with my head down and not, just working out all the time what I'm doing. Try not to miss a bite. Try not to lose any fish.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, with the old school, we do like the old natural fishing. But have you ever thought about going on commercials, or have you ever tried commercial?
I know I fish commercials. I've won plenty of matches, and in fact, in the early days, I was going to, which was then Gold Valley. Yeah. When it first started out. All of those places, Decoy Lakes when it first opened up. I used to enjoy them, and I still enjoy them, but I think it's very specialised. And I don't ask me why I prefer running water or water that moves. Yeah. And the Yare is a tidal river, so it can come up a metre. Yeah. During the course of a match. Depending on when the state of the tide. So technically very difficult. You have to keep in touch with it all the time. I just love that sort of thinking. Or you might have to chuck a feeder right over. You might have to chuck a feeder to 50 metres and catch a couple of big bream.
Okay. Oh, it's a pity it's so far away. I'd love to come and fish by the sun a bit.
It's just... And I'll tell you what, Clive, they're 100 peggers too.
Are they? Big turnouts. Good.
especially early on in the season. You
Yeah.
know, the first match will be a sellout, 100 odd pegs, probably 110.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, hopefully. Do you honestly, will we get out, do you think?
Well,
Do you
yeah.
think we'll get out on the 16th?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I mentioned it on a couple of vlogs. I can't see us getting out until later, really late in the year. But hopefully.
Don't say that.
I know. It's,
But
I'm very pessimistic. I'm sorry.
we'll probably be able to get out sort of as pleasure fishermen, do you reckon?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, probably. Might be.
I saw somebody getting arrested in Ireland for fishing yesterday.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. I put that vlog
Did you
up.
see it?
Yeah. Crazy, isn't it?
Oh, did you put it up?
Yeah.
I didn't know you'd put it up.
Yeah. All right, Bob. I'm having a little problem now with this phone and this recording. So, as I said, we'll finish off. But what I was going to say, if you don't mind, perhaps we can carry on and do another one again soon, where we can maybe answer some questions or talk about some other stuff.
Yeah. We can come on tomorrow, can't we?
Yeah. All right then. Okay. All right, Bob. Well, thanks for that. I mean, obviously, some of the stuff there's still a few other questions I'd like to probably ask you, and like your future goals. I don't know what your plans are. Anything in particular? Just carry on fishing, I suppose.
Yeah. Just I've never. People saying, "Oh, you've retired from fishing." When I first got dropped from England, and I said, "No, I'm not retired. They can still pick me if they want. They can still pick me if they wanted to. I'm available."
Well, I think you're good enough. I think you're good enough, to be honest. But as you say, it's a younger generation.
Nah, there's some brilliant anglers now, and it's and a lot of pressure, isn't it? Not easy.
Yeah.
So
That's right. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Great chatting to you, Clive. And
Okay. Listen, Bob. Right. As I said, that's been brilliant. I'll try and get this up if I can later on, and I'll send you a copy of it.
okay, and I'll copy it onto mine.